today's topic is finding the voice of becoming an expert, developing the unique frameworks and opportunity. I want you guys to pay more attention on developing your framework and new opportunity here because this is what makes you an actual expert, why people should listen to you, and what makes you different from anyone else. Once you already have that right, you can create a following where people will follow you, and that's where you grow your audience. When you have all these three, if you combine all of these three, you create some sort of a movement. For us, ourselves in this show, we have this thing called the Money Magnet Show. Think, Alden, can you tell us a little bit more about your inspiration behind the Money Magnet branding itself?
The inspiration what I got from Money Magnet was because I see that there's a high failure rate of business going on. In fact, 70% of businesses fail in the next 5 years. And one of our mission for this show itself, or even the Money Magnet as a mission itself, is that we want to see less digital business failing. And one of it can help you to make sure that your business succeed is to actually be the custodian or be the brand personality of that brand itself. You have to present yourself like someone that stands on the brand. To guys on watching this, let us know in the comments as well if you have any questions out there about what sort of things that you want to ask about becoming an expert. Because there's a lot of very, very huge misconceptions saying that, oh, I don't want to become a guru because guru has a very, very bad name.
Yeah. If you guys want to know about how to differentiate yourself from a guru and an actual legit entrepreneur out there, this show will actually explain how as well.
Yes, it's very, very important because right now there's a lot of bad name going on gurus. People who don't practice it suddenly start talking about it, stuff like that. So maybe this presentation and it will help you clear all of this up. And it's very, very important because as businesses, people want to meet someone, not a business sound. A business is actually dead. It's
That's right.
people that makes the business have meaning. For example, when you think about Apple, you think about Steve Jobs, right? Think about Tesla, you think about SpaceX, Elon Musk. So because people relate to people more than people relate to businesses. That's why this talk is so important for you to know how to become an expert and at the same time how do you present yourself as custodian for a brand. It's very, very important. Yep. So
Okay. Without further ado, let's move on to this. So there are 5 phases to becoming an expert. This itself is a framework that I learned from Russell Brunson. So there's always these five steps that you cannot actually run away from. I'll show you what I mean by a framework is a framework is a framework. This itself is a framework. I can show you another one that other people has created that is unique to theirs, but it means the same thing. Same. So in order for you to become expert, first you need to be the dreamer. You need to have a passion on something. Say, for example, for me, I would want to be an expert of, let's say, relationships. So I need to research as much as I can over there. And then I start talking like a reporter. I explain how certain things works, why attraction works, why, rejection works or anything like that. I report whatever that I learned from the industry. And from there,
so what you're trying to say that if I wanted to be an expert, the first thing I should do is to research all this topic and start
Yes.
thinking about it.
Yes. Say, I give you an example. If let's say an agency, an advertising agency, okay, they receive a brief about, say, healthcare. They have no idea, no experience about healthcare, but they gotta learn everything. Once they learn everything already, then they can become some sort of an expert where they can suggest ideas to communicate what they know to the public, to the brand, and then the brand will buy. Another example is like a lawyer. If let's say a lawyer has no idea how healthcare works, suddenly somebody, for whatever reason, they want to sue that person. So you have to make an example why this approach work, why this approach work, why this approach work. You gotta understand the industry first before you form your own individual opinion on what works, what doesn't work. So it makes the same sense. You always start with research first. And then you become a reporter, gathering all the data, document everything first. And then you formulate your own idea. That's where the framework creator is. And then you serve your client or serve your people. And then after that, you can brand yourself an expert on that subject. You get it?
Okay, so how do you as a person wants to broadcast this? As a reporter, where do you suggest we should go? On YouTube or
So
Facebook?
for a reporter, the best case scenario to get known is YouTube. I would say YouTube is the best platform for search. Anybody just type a specific key words like say healthcare or let's say lawyer, how to be a lawyer, how to be confident when you how do you call talking about your case, or even digital marketing, how to be a great digital marketer in Facebook ads. Those keywords you put it on YouTube, and most likely that's where people will search. Number one. Second would be in Google.
So you're trying to say that as being as a reporter, before becoming as an expert, you should actually start talking about existing things before.
Yes, because you gotta know how the landscape work first. And I'm a huge believer of practicing what's going on right now. Say if you would never be able to be the champion of a specific topic or industry if you do not know the entire landscape. And in order for you to learn more about landscape, is you talk about it, you educate somebody about it, you are in the industry. That's why you go and report whatever case that has happened. Say for example, if you want to be like I give an example just now about relationships, right? If you never been in a relationships or if you never knows how relationship works, you won't be able to, you know, talk about the relationship that's happening nowadays. Why nowadays online dating is the way to go, or why now online marketing is the way to go compared to the previous. If you don't talk about it, you don't research about it and present your data in a cohesive argument why this is the way to go, you won't be able to formulate your own ideas. So you have to be a reporter, whether you do it in video form, whether you just document it everything on Word document, you write it as blog, any way or form, create content like a reporter.
Yeah. So do you think that as being as a reporter, say you are interested in subjects about say workout, would it be better if someone who wants to become an expert in workout started searching up trends and presenting it? Would that be
Absolutely. That's the way to go. So once he researched everything about what is going on and stuff like that, then they presented the ideas. What actually happens is they start to pick little bits of information that relates to them, you see. This is how you create your unique self, how you brand yourself, because there are some things that you're gonna agree with, some things that you don't agree with. And I'm not here to say what is right, what is wrong. There are many different ways where people say that maybe ketogenic diet is the way to go. Some people say, or maybe you do hardcore, high intensity workout is the way to go. But there is something unique to you. It could be both for you. It could be only one. It could be one or the other. So you gotta start picking things that is related to you. Start presenting that why you agree with this thing, why you disagree with this thing. And sooner or later, you start to find your inner voice within yourself. What works for you, what doesn't.
okay?
So all of these things is all about we help your dream customer to achieve the result through your new opportunity. Your new opportunity is basically a fancy word for your framework, a fancy word for your big idea as well. It's all the same thing. So don't get confused, right? Okay. So the next thing I mentioned about being the dreamer, go experiment with tons of stuff, identify things that spark your interest. Everybody have to do this. Whether is it as I mentioned, whether you are agency, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are basically here, or even a student, if you actually pick up a subject that you guys want to write a thesis on, the first thing you gotta do is research the hell out of everything. Research the trend, research everything, ask questions, talk to expert, understand on a deeper knowledge that in a way where you can present things without looking at notes. That's how you gauge your expertise on a subject. All right. So the next phase is becoming the reporter. Yeah, Ned Garcia. So you're starting your own show and launching a summit interview top expert in your field. So it's not only about you yourself talking, you can also call people into your show and start asking them key question, and then you start understanding how the way others think and you form your own kind of opinion around it. So experts can give their point of view on something that maybe perhaps you disagree. Maybe you have a strong point that maybe you shouldn't go on diet. Maybe you should, work out in a way where you do 15 minutes of workout to burn fat and don't do diet. Some people say diet is the way to go. There's no point working 15 minutes workout every single time, every 1-2 hours a day. It doesn't work that way. So many different people have many strong point of view on what works and what doesn't, what they resonate with. So the next thing is building a framework. Okay, now this time I'm gonna go more in depth on the practical things on framework. First, as mentioned, you create content based on what you want to talk about. And then you start telling stories on your experiences. Then you start making offers. Maybe you got a product you want to sell or affiliate product you want to sell. And then finally create your own framework, something that you see that, it clicks, creative ideas in the creative industry it works is somehow ideas it just works. You just connect the dots, everything. After you do all the research, you find an insight, ask people question about what problems they face, then everything start to be clear on, hey, this is what you need to solve this problem. And that's where the framework actually comes about. It's it's hard to explain when you get it, but the aha moment is when you get it, you see.
How do you describe the aha moment?
The aha moment, I think the aha moment back then when I was in the creative industry, it felt like, you know, it least expected, where a flash of thought just come to your head and then you just knew that it all makes sense suddenly. This is the missing piece of the puzzle. That aha moment works that way. But you can only get to there after you come up with countless ideas, you talk about it, you did hack research all about it, and then you find the problems. And then from that problems, you come up with that idea, that big idea.
So it's definitely no easy way to become an expert.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, is there's no way escaping this framework. You see, a framework is a framework is a framework. Whether you use the agency way to come up with your case or lawyer way to come up with case, digital marketing way to come up with case, is the same way. All right. Next, I give you an example something about Bruce Lee. You see, this is what he said: absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and own what is uniquely yours. Bruce Lee actually learned Wing Chun, if I'm not mistaken, and he learned many different kind of martial arts previously, but in the end, he created his own framework. Do you guys know what is Bruce Lee's famous technique? Anyone?
Not so sure. Anybody in the comments? If you guys
Anybody comment?
well, what's his? I think his technique. I'm not so sure. I do know he has one quote about being water or something like that.
Yeah, that is his quote as well. That is his, how you call, philosophy on how you call, on life. But he has one technique that is uniquely his. It's not Wing Chun. It's not what he learned from his master, because that's what he learned from his master. He, from One Punch Man Ip Man, that's what he learned, but he internalized it, and he also learned many different kind of martial arts. And then after that, he create one technique that is uniquely his. Guys know what is that?
Swinging sticks. Is that
one of it? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Another one says straight blast for SQS. Straight blast. Okay. Yeah. So what's answer?
Okay. His most famous one is this, the 1-inch punch. You see? That 1-inch punch made Bruce Lee famous overnight. That is his framework, you see. He learned many different kind of kung fu styles and stuff like that. And then after, he created one that is uniquely his, and he demonstrated it in front of an audience. Suddenly, everybody known Bruce Lee for that, you see, 1-inch punch. That's his framework. And how he actually do it, he teach people is, you put your hand like that, and then you just push. Is actually using the force from your stomach, not from your arms. So that's how he actually teach people that framework. So if you look at it here, right, these 4 puzzle pieces, right, when you're creating a framework, it works this way. First, you gotta find a problem that they are actually, your target audience is facing. Then you guarantee them a result. From there, you know where to go. Then you test your framework and hypothesize the framework like a guinea pig on yourself. Before anybody can learn how to do the 1-inch punch, right, Bruce Lee have to do it countless times. Yes, this is the way you do it. Yes, there's a technique to do this. Then he create a unique proprietary framework around that. That technique is uniquely his. Then he start teaching other people how to do that technique. See, it works the same way, even from high call for martial arts as well. You gotta learn whatever that's out there and then create what's uniquely yours. So one of the important thing is giving your framework a proprietary name. This is how you can actually sell your product that is different from others. But most people say, why should I learn from you? Other people are selling 1,001 things also similar. There's so many out there. And this is actually what makes a difference between a guru as well as a real expert on the subject. Because a guru, what they usually do is they take what is out there, they package it, and then they take, pictures on their yacht, their car and stuff, and try to brand themselves being successful. But you start asking them question, how they actually made it. Some of them who are a fake guru, they tend to stutter and they don't know because they never gone through the entire process. When you actually go through the entire process and you document the process, that's uniquely yours. People cannot say that, hey, Bruce Lee is a fake guru. No way, nobody will say that because he owns his technique, you see. That's the difference.
Okay, okay. I get to see the picture right now. All right. So
Yes.
if you have your own uniquely, your own system or your own framework itself, and it's actually working out for people because you've tested it out and stuff like that, no one can take that away from you. So that is the way on how you can prove to the world that you're an expert because you have your own method.
Yes, exactly. But there's a downside to that as well because you see, when you become an expert and start putting yourself out there, and this one is going to get a bit confrontational for some, is that there are people that is going to be out there disagreeing with you. Some people say, why the heck do I need to do the 1 inch punch? You see, why do I want to be so close to somebody? Some people will say, I'll just use my leg or something like that. So I don't want to be so close to anybody. So there are people that disagree with you. But for one thing for sure, they cannot claim you as a fraud. You see? Because if anybody say the 1 inch punch isn't, it doesn't work, then you tell them, if Bruce Lee is going to be there, you come here, I show you. So the same thing. It's like when your framework, right, you can guarantee people result because you've done it, you know it works. The people may disagree with you, it doesn't matter, but you know in your heart that your product works because you've done it before. It clears off the air that whether you are a guru or not a guru because you've done it, you document it, you shown result. As opposed to out of nowhere, suddenly you got result up there. Another example I would like to call upon is like Elon Musk. You see, Elon Musk also practiced the act of documenting his achievement. When he first started launching the rocket of SpaceX, it it blew up. Everybody called him he's wasting money. Why is he spending so much millions in this? Some people disagree, say that you should actually do this for the world hunger or save the environment, stop thinking about elsewhere about the Mars and stuff like that. So there are people who's gonna disagree with him, but one thing for sure is Elon Musk is not making it, you see. He actually does everything and he becomes an expert of space travel because he did it, he showed people his failure, and then after that, he succeed in it. So anybody can't say, oh, he did it because he's rich. Some people say that, oh, you did your business because maybe, you know, out of sheer luck, or maybe because, you're rich, you can hire somebody to do it. But being a real expert, you can't. You yourself gotta do it. You've been through it all, you done it all, you have a framework. So the next thing is most important is give your framework a proprietary name. Say, for example, this is my 5-step framework for helping people to find their voice. It could be this show itself, you see, the 5-step framework of finding your voice to talk in social media. And then start giving a name. Maybe this is the 5-step voice finder. So that uniquely mine. So I can actually talk about this. But mind you guys, that 5-step is not mine. That 5-step belongs to Russell Brunson. Okay. So for me, myself, I'm still in the way trying to find my own framework. There are some things that I've done, but I've not completely, refined it as a framework yet. So it actually is a journey. It takes time and it takes effort as well.
Okay, when you mentioned about proprietary name, right?
Yes.
That I like, for example, very general 5 ways to find your voice. Do you think it would be much better if you come up with your own special name, coming up with something very general, generic?
Can I give you an example? Yoda sense to find your voice. but then people will reference that to Star Wars. You can put any amount of spin or fun ways you can put it, just as long as you create that is different from the public and that is uniquely yours. So you can put 5 ways to find your voice, or 5 ways to find your passion, 5 ways to create content, or something, the lightsaber way of cutting through to your end goal, something like that.
See.
So just find your voice for that lah. Yes.
All right.
So after you actually create your framework, you gotta work for it. So what this means is, like, when Bruce Lee actually demonstrate it from everyone, he's actually contributing to society, where he actually let everyone know that this technique exists and there is such thing as this technique. So you gotta work for it in a way that sometimes when you're creating a framework, you might even need to work for somebody where you are in the documentation purpose. So you are documenting their result as well as your result to see whether it works, also not only for you but for others as well. So this is how you serve your dream client, get them the result that they want, and that will serve you as well. So as a practitioner, like why I put a picture of a Jedi here is, it's not only that you learn how to use Jedi tricks or lightsaber skills, you gotta teach other people and you gotta make sure that they learn it as well. It works for them. Doesn't mean that maybe some skills it can only be taught by certain people because they have the experience, and some skills there is also possibility that can't be taught. It's something that you can teach them by concept, but some people will not be able to understand the core concept, will not be able to use that concept. Like, that is your unique talent. In one way to illustrate this is how artists, and the artist can actually teach you the techniques, how they actually do certain art, but you will never ever have the same style as that artist. Everyone is unique. That's also another beauty of you becoming, creating your voice. Everybody will have their own unique voice. Most people say that the market is already full. There's so many of them out there. I would say that's not true, because you take a look at it. If you go search on YouTube, you just type a specific gamer. There's so many gamers out there. Their approach of talking, their way to entertain their audience is all different. Everybody does it differently. So you definitely have your own voice, is your own style that is uniquely yours. Yep.
So coming back again, what you're suggesting is don't just take what knowledge you have gained out there. For example, like say, for example, SEO. You don't, everyone have lots of articles about SEO. You can learn it. And then don't just talk about the same thing that you learned, but come up with your own special framework or so-called, say, special strategy, or you brand it to your own method per se. And then,
Yes.
okay. So it's much better to present yourself as an expert by creating your own thing instead of just copy pasting what is already out there.
Yes, you can copy and paste, you can reference other people's work, but if you're gonna start selling your product and make it yours entirely, you gotta have to find your own. It's essential for you to find your own framework, because that is proprietary yours, you see. So that's uniquely yours when you start selling this. Okay, I'm the founder of the 5-step process of finding your voice. So most people will say, yeah, they understand.
Is that also another way of how it will help you put yourself away from your competitor in terms of price?
Correct. Because when it comes to info products, right, it's what perceived value, or even any kind of product, is the perceived value of the specific product. So if you create something that is a bit different, or maybe a mix of different kind of techniques, then you can price it at different price.
There's a question from Mona here about framework should work in a way based on others' needs. What's that?
Yes, of course. Based on what others needs, it should be an end goal before you actually create the framework. Here's the important thing. When you actually create the framework, right, it's important that that problem works for you as well. That's where you actually have to be successful in your own frame, because you are the first guinea pig, and then start teaching other people that framework and make sure that framework works for other people as well. So you gotta solve a problem. Okay, the number 5 of becoming expert is after you know everything is also basically what I'm doing here as well is you gotta practice it. So you gotta publish daily, you gotta document the journey and test your material and learn to be prolific. These four steps also is from Russell Brunson. This is his framework as well. So number one is I would like emphasize about document your journey because the difference between like for example gurus is they always portray the image where they've made it. The fact is nobody in life, right? To be honest, if they are not living an image of a fake persona, there's no such thing actually they made it, you see. Unless maybe you just show that you are rich. But if you actually have something that solve a problem, something that you do daily life, you're gonna have your struggle, your goals. When you have goals, it's bound to have failures. If you don't have failures, there's no such thing as goals. So you have no goals in life. So you document your journey and you tell people what works, what doesn't work. It coincidentally makes you an expert, like a scientist. If you say a scientist, like if you take a point of view where the human population has already extend their maximum level of where science is at, they will never learn new things. They are at the best of the best. They have achieved the highest form of enlightenment or knowledge in life. I don't think that's possible, to be honest. It's it's not, you don't reach at that level that you say you are the best of the best and you start teaching people so that they can be the best of the best. You gotta start documenting a journey where you are now and where you are going as well. That's where people will start following you. You see, that's the fine line between the two.
Okay, and Yvonne has a question saying that would our face must always be there.
Quite good question. No. If you want to put on a mask and say that you're anonymous and say that your social standing in life is you do certain things and but other people will be able to follow you as well without your face.
And
But
see,
I do encourage people to show their face. The reason why is because you can be the character that people look to instead of being somebody that nobody knows or just on the stage name. It's better for you to be the character itself. If you are, in other words, if let's say you are gonna talk about certain things and you don't want to show your face, then you can put maybe a keyword of somebody, maybe the mask guy or something like that. That the mask guy itself will be famous and but the thing will be very distant because they know what that idea or the mask guy name stands for, but they
or
cannot.
they know
Yeah,
Batman, but they can't maybe relate with Batman
yeah, they cannot relate with Batman. Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
because they don't know who that person is, right?
Yes. They
Mhm.
even better question is if people will start asking why you do certain things, you see, why you do what you do. So people paint Batman as a mysterious figure, but nobody really understands his motives. Even though they know his motive, he can be a good guy one day, bad guy the other day, because it's up to public's perception. He don't have a voice, you see. He has action but no voice.
So you suggest to us to show our faces,
Yes, you have to get comfortable with that. I would say it's better that you show your face. I think last week also somebody asked about whether you should use your own name on social media or your brand's page or your business name itself. I would encourage people to be use both of them. You can have your own business page and your own personal page, but you show your face on both of them because people know what you do and why. It's like the same
Remember
thing
that
as
really ask that question. How do
uh
you differentiate between your brand and yourself, personal one?
yes. In terms of posting content, right? Your personal page, you look at my own personal Facebook page, I post a lot of stupid shit because that's like basically who I am on Facebook, all right? But on my business page, I post a lot of business related things. But the most important thing is I'm being genuine with who I am on both platforms. I am a business person as a person, whether you know me on my business page, whether you know me on my personal page. But how I identify myself or what I talk or what I stand, I would encourage people to say that, yeah, this is who you are, what you do, and own really who you are. You don't gotta hide yourself because of judgment. I understand judgment, friends, family might be able to, think that you're trying to be somebody you're not. But actually, in fact, that's who you actually are, who you want to be, you see.
All right. Mona actually have a very, very good question that she says. It's about not being fake. When you're first starting out and you're not actually an expert yet. So you suggest to fake it before you make it.
Okay, so this is a very good question. And back to the first thing, be a dreamer and be a reporter. See, when you start reporting industry trends, right, you're not talking about yourself. Not I say, but what the industry experts say, what's going on out there. So the pressure is off your shoulders. It's on referencing or whatever that is, like, that is in the news, whatever that is happening in the industry. Like you can say, oh, he said this, oh, she said this, they say that, data says this. So you can't argue with that, you see. So your the pressure of you becoming an expert, you're not there yet. You start gathering all this data, and then it's like in one day it just clicks, and then it's like, what's the latest data of social media? You already know. Then you can say, I don't have to reference somebody. I know this data at the back of my head already. I don't need to look at the numbers. Now then you did your research, right? Just now you said that 70% of business fail, right? Yeah. You can only own that because you do your research. And before you actually talk about that, you actually reference that from somewhere else, right?
Yep, definitely. It's a very, very huge data. 70% of businesses fail within 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you actually take off the pressure of you gotta fake it till you make it, because you're just a reporter, you see. You are stating facts that is happening.
I see.
So no pressure.
All right. Yeah. We hope that answers you, Mona.
Okay. So this is a content framework that you can talk about. This, I said, this is one framework. You can talk about why people fail certain things, or you throw rocks at enemies, allay fear, confirm people's suspicion, encouraging. This is actually the framework of persuasion. How do you persuade somebody to do something that you want, or how do you persuade somebody to take an action on something? Then you can see how lawyers usually does it is they talk about this way to argue their way to get a certain point across, and to gain the public's appeal on something. So if you're in an agency also, you are creating a positioning for a brand, you gotta tell your clients, say, hey, your competitors are doing this. You should do something like this. That's throwing rocks at enemies. And you can tell people, say, you don't need to fear about certain things. You do this certain way, and you give them solution for the fears that they have. That is also a content framework that you can create. So this is one framework. People can say this is a content framework. It's also a persuasion technique. All right. And the next one is also a framework that I've learned from Vanessa Lau. So this is the content framework based on money magnets. See, so you can talk about myths, you can talk about mistakes and limiting beliefs, you can talk about inspiration, hot tips, social proof, and objections. So this is the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's a framework for content. This is also a framework for content. You can come up with your own unique framework itself. Maybe it's not five, or maybe it's not like, seven, maybe it's eight, you know, eight, eight content pillars, 10 content pillars, 12. It can be many different kind of things, as long as it's uniquely yours and things that you have done works, and that something that makes sense. I say that the top 10 myths of entrepreneurs. Most people think that number one myth is entrepreneurs is born with, entirely different kind of mindset, where they don't fear risks, they have no fears. So, but when you talk about it, you say you're busting the myth. You say, actually, no, entrepreneurs, even me myself, I do feel scared. Even going on live shows, there is a time that I actually feel scared. Even now, sometimes I will feel scared. So telling other people that even I feel the same, you shouldn't be embarrassed that you feel this way. So you actually connect with your audience that way. Then you can also talk about mistakes. Let's say how to do branding from mistakes, right? Then you talk about mistakes, you can say things like, this is the previous past mistakes that I've made, so you don't have to.
I see. Okay. So for example, these are what you given here some frameworks that people can actually copy, model, for example, or model.
This is the expanded framework if you ask me, but it's also a framework you can talk about, let's say mistakes, right? You can talk about, let's say, allay fears. You say I've made this mistake in the past, so you don't need to make this mistake here. I can tell you your fear is justifiable. And also you can say justify failure, say, yeah, you failed in the past, but failure is inevitable and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. This is his framework, this is her framework, two different people. But she will she will say this is hers, you see. Then she starts selling a coaching program based on this. So if you're gonna create a framework, something like that, you gotta create your own framework that is something uniquely yours, and you can say you are the founder of this framework. Why people pay you high call 499 USD? Because they have access to your framework and how you use your framework to get where you were back then to where you are now. So a framework is a framework because it's it works. It doesn't mean physical products, right? It could be info product. It could be, tips, tricks, your contents itself is also part of your offerings. So this is the typical dating kind of offerings that some people may offer in that space. So also the same, you use the same framework on this.
Okay.
So this is a bonus thing about your product. Okay, I would say this is my own particular framework. It's not refined. It's just document your process of solving your own problem and package it as a product. And then give this to them as an offering and to speed up the process to where they were last time to where you are now. Say, for example, it's like, let's say, for me, myself, I give you a scenario. My road to 50 Instagram followers. So that's my framework. So what I did in my first 50, what I did to get first 50 Instagram followers. So first I start creating contents, and I found out that creating contents can be a bit draining. So what did I did about that process? So I start to document my daily life, taking pictures here and there. So I don't actually post it immediately because I know that sometimes you have the mood to post content, sometimes you don't have the mood to post content. So I found out, okay, so I take a bunch of pictures first. And then the next thing I did is I found out that I need some sort of a scheduler. So, and once you have a scheduler, I need to know how to create some sort of a easier way to write caption. Is there a caption box or a list of captions that I can use for call to actions? So for me personally, what I did previously is I actually look at all the entrepreneurs within my niche, find out their call to action. So I just basically save their caption into a data bank with all the caption there. So if I need the call to action, I think this one is relevant, I just copy paste, or use and change it, remodel it. So that's my unique framework of growing Instagram from 0 to 50. And I don't think people out there talk about it before, where they save competitors' call to action in a data bank and then use it. So that is my own framework, and my product offering is, hey, I have over 500 call to actions from entrepreneurs in this space. If you buy my product, you'll get access to all 500 of them. So you don't have to do your research. You don't have to crack your head. I've done it all for you. So this is the bonus. Apart from a framework, you teach your framework. Your bonus, your product is the bonus. It can help people get from where they are there to where you are now in a very short period of time. And people will pay for that. Because quite frankly, people have evolved in a way where they are not willing to pay for information, because everybody is giving information for free. Even us right now here, like giving you guys information for free. So why should you buy something from us unless we have a product offering that is relevant to you to get you are now to where you are there? You get it? Yeah. So after you create a framework, you teach people your framework. You can teach people a framework for free. But the product you're offering is you speed up the process to help them solve the problem. So that's what I'm getting into. So this itself, what I've just mentioned, could be my own framework itself, because I've never seen anybody done it before. This is personally what I've done. So it could be my framework.
How something that people also can more or less replicates to
Yes, yes,
and make it on their
yes. Like for example, I did 500, call to actions for Instagram. So I did all the research. I found all the best call to action. I've done the research. These are the best call to action that is out there in the industry. So I compiled everything. I put it into a Word document. Anybody can just download the file if they pay for my program. I give this for free. They use this program, they can just immediately take and deploy. So
So,
it's not about information, it's about speeding up the process.
so guys, what Eddie has mentioned here as well, maybe this is something that you can may consider for your own audience itself. Maybe it's not just about selling products based on the value that you can teach them, but also maybe it's something very simple. What Eddie did there was just helping to find out the best call to actions to help them save time. It can be that simple. And because of you doing that legwork of helping people save time, you can start generating money from that. Because honestly, I know time to me is the most important thing. Money is $1 to you, $1 to a millionaire is the same. But time, 1 minute and 1 minute to a millionaire is very different. People perceive time much, much, much more different than money, you see. And say that you're coming up with this process to help people save time and you're charging it very expensive, say maybe about 500 USD. Those people who are actually in that space knows that, okay, this helps me save time. It'd be much, I'm willing to pay that 500 USD because it helps them save time. People perceive time differently. So this is something a great nugget for you, that if you got nothing to sell, what about selling something that helps to save time? And this is something that you can always do research. Eddie has just mentioned, he just pick all the calls to actions. Maybe this is something that you guys can think about for your own particular business, own particular industry. What is it that you can provide people that can help them save time? And you can brand it as your own.
Yeah, I hope you guys have the aha moment from here. This basically changes everything. If you become a reporter, it's not about being a reporter for you. You just talk, you document everything, and whatever that you document, you put the pressure off yourself so that you won't be the so-called, fake it till you make it guru. You put it on the industry, on someone else there. You just basically reporting what other people do to build your own confidence, to build your own, framework to build on yourself. At the same time, whatever that you've been building from day one could be the product that you are offered in the end. I hope this helps you guys as well about how to be an expert on the subject or any subject you want, and actually creating a framework and monetizing that product at the end of it, this whole entire journey.
For Yvonne, yes, I think if you say that you charge people by your own framework, technically your framework is your own personal ideas, your own personal method, you see. And you found that if your method works, I believe that scratch your own itch, believe that other people may have the similar itch as well. So if you are able to help find a process or method to solve your own problem, I'm sure people out there, they may have this problem as well, which you can solve. And this you can actually quantify whether or not people have this particular problem that you are trying to help them solve. It's through Google searches. Can also search it on lots of places out there, such as what is that place to help search what people are searching.
Answer the public, you see.
Answer the public. So you see all these questions that people is searching. Maybe you come up with your own framework like that, and then you can start charging for people for that because you have already helped them do the so-called help people save their time already. All right. And most entrepreneurs, infopreneurs, or say content marketers has already done that. Find out what is it that people is searching for, what problem they have. For example, my hair is dry. How can I make it more moisturized? They actually come out with content like that on their website. And when you land on that content on their website, it's basically information about why is your hair dry. And they will probably give you in the content section, they probably ask you to buy their product itself. So you
Yeah.
get for your framework.
The biggest difference as well of becoming a guru and not a guru, you see, if you actually encounter problems, you document it like a science experiment. Whether you fail or succeed, it's just going to bring you closer to success. And that thing itself is part of your framework. So you say, I've gone from here to here to here. I did this. Some other experts say this is the method to go, but you disagree. Why? Because you've done it, you failed. It doesn't work this way. It doesn't always work this way. Then you say, alternative, how do I get out of that tight spot? I did these new things and then that new things work. So how did that new opportunity or new framework actually help you for people particularly in that issue? Say Alden mentioned dry hair, right? So some people say that maybe their hair is, thick hair, it's not really dry, so maybe it works differently. So you document everything itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So gonna show you guys something. You see the 5-step process of framework. This is something that I steal from 100x. Okay. So I've seen this. I got bear with me. You see, okay. Just now when I talk about the research part, guess where we were just now? We are in the learning zone. Deal with challenges and problems. You record everything. You present out as a reporter. You therefore acquire new skills and you extend your comfort zone. You grow your knowledge. And then once you create your framework, you're in a growth zone. From growth zone, you find your purpose, you find your true calling in life, you found your voice, you lead other people to where you are from here to here, and you start living your dreams, moving forward, solving your own problems and achieving success. So 100x itself here, this design here, right here is a framework on its own. And notice that this framework and the previous framework that I've just shown is a framework. It's the same thing. Somebody might come out and start teaching about this, how to move from comfort to fear to learning to growth. It's just basically how you piece information together and what makes sense with the others, you see. So this itself also, like the growth zone, set new goals, new target, you conquer your objective. It's the same thing as where you start contributing to other people and then before that you start learning, then you become the researcher. So it on its own is a framework. I would say I hope you guys enjoy this about creating a framework, finding your own voice and monetizing your own in the end. I hope everybody who watch this video get a new sort of confidence to actually post their content, becoming the reporter or creating their own framework. Most framework you can see out there, just learn as much as you can. You will create your own unique one sooner or later. Instead of just say, oh, I'm this person, say that I'm the creator of this framework. That's way much more powerful. I think that's the next step for all of us to go.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me share you guys one thing about all these framework that I mentioned about where did I get all this. All of this that I've learned many different kinds of books in the past. So I want to give you guys, I asked permission from you guys that to show you guys where I get this book from. So I got this all from the Expert Secret book. If you guys are interested, definitely check out the link below. And yeah, this book I would say changed my life. I would say it gives me the confidence to become an expert on the subject. I think last year was when we started 100x. I got the book, start reading the book, and start thinking, hey, I've already got so much knowledge on the industry, might as well start talking about it. So these books actually changed my life. I think this book will be able to help you as well. If you're interested, then definitely check it out.
Okay, we are like coming to the end of the show already. So if you guys want to know more about how to become an expert, well, we have the link right down there. You can check that out.